Okay, sorry about that. Part two. Now, back where I was. Um, and Pilate answered, I have written what I have written. Then the soldiers, when they had crucified Jesus, took his garments and made four parts to every soldier a part, and also his coat. Now the coat was without seam, woven from the top throughout. And they said, therefore, among themselves, let us not tear it, but let us bet for it. Those whose it shall be, that the scripture might be fulfilled, which saith, they parted my raiment among them, for my vesture they did cast lots. These things therefore the soldiers did. Now there stood by the cross of Jesus his mother, and his mother's sister Mary, excuse me, and his mother's sister Mary, the wife of Cleophas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus therefore saw his mother and the disciple standing by, whom he loved, he said unto his mother, Woman, behold thy son. Then saith to the disciple, Behold thy mother. In other words, he was saying, y'all look after each other. And from that hour, that disciple took her into his own home. After this, Jesus, knowing that all things were now accomplished, that the scripture might be fulfilled, said, I thirst. Now there was set a vessel full of vinegar, and they filled a sponge with vinegar and put it upon hyssop and put it to his mouth. When Jesus therefore had received the vinegar, he said, It is finished. And he bowed his head and gave up the ghost. The Jews, therefore, because it was the preparation that the body should not remain on the cross on the Sabbath day, for that Sabbath day was a high day, besought Pilate that their legs might be broken and that they might be taken away. Then came the soldiers and to break the legs of the first and of the other, which was crucified with him. But when they came to Jesus, they saw he was dead already, and they did not break his legs. But one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side, and therefore came out blood and water. And he that saw it bare record, and his record is true, and he knoweth that he said true. Excuse me. And he knoweth that he said true, that you might believe, for these things were done that the scripture should be fulfilled. A bone of him shall not be broken. And again, another scripture said, They shall look upon him who they pierced. And after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Jesus, but secretly for fear of the Jews, besought Pilate that he might take away the body of Jesus. And Pilate gave him leave,